I found out my girlfriend ran away with my brother after vanishing before my proposal, and my family hid it from me for 5 years. When I learned the truth, I confronted everyone, only to be shamed by my ex, betrayed by my brother, and manipulated by my parents. Now I'm cutting them off and seeking payback. I've been single for the past 5 years, ever since my girlfriend disappeared from my life without a trace. My name is Ethan, 29 male, and my ex Tessa, 28 female, and I had been together since our final year of high school, dating for almost 6 years before she vanished. Most of our relationship survived the challenges of college and distance. We could only see each other once or twice a month, but we stayed close, or so I thought. In my mind, things between us were great, so much so that I had planned to propose to her at my 24th birthday party, with both of our families and friends there to watch. The night before my birthday, though, everything changed. Tessa called to say she'd be late getting home from work, so I waited up all night for her. She never walked through the door. I called her phone again and again, fired off message after message, but she didn't respond. I even tried reaching out to her friends and family, only to find myself blocked on every channel. No one had any answers, and the few mutual friends we had either claimed ignorance or told me to give up and move on, which made me feel like they were hiding something. It was like she'd evaporated. Her social media vanished too. No accounts, nothing. I don't know if Tessa realized a proposal was coming the next day, if that scared her off, or if her disappearance's timing was pure coincidence. All I knew was that she was gone, with no goodbye, no closure, no explanation, and nothing I could do except watch my life turn upside down. For a while I considered reporting her missing to the police, but eventually I understood she wasn't missing. She just didn't want to be found by me. I tried everything, made fake profiles on social media with different names to search for her, but had no luck. Either she changed her name or he'd scrubbed her online existence clean. After months of chasing shadows and constantly hoping for a hint, I had to finally accept she didn't want me to find her. Still, I couldn't move on. I really did believe we were happy together, or at least I was. I waited for years clinging to hope, not just to rekindle things, but even just for an explanation, answers, so I could move on. I went on a few dates with other women, but I couldn't stop thinking about Tessa the entire time. The whole thing was too painful, so eventually I gave up on dating altogether. For 4 years, I didn't say yes to dates or ask anyone out. Every time I imagined trying, her face flashed in my mind like a warning sign. So I just waited. It probably seems pretty pathetic, but I was genuinely in love with her. I started therapy 3 years ago, and while it helped me manage the pain and get on with daily life, I couldn't say I forgot about her or what happened. All I wanted was closure. Just a simple explanation of what went wrong. Fast forward 5 years, and 2 weeks ago, something major happened. I was at my mom's, dropping off some homemade soup for my dad, because he told me he'd be home late, and I have a spare key. I stepped inside quietly, about to check on my mom, and stopped dead when I heard her talking with my brother, Greg, 33. Greg doesn't live here. He moved to Canada for work at 22, and only comes home twice a year for short visits. This time, he's been back for a month, because our mom, Carol, 62F, is really sick with a serious heart condition. He was supposed to leave weeks ago, but stayed longer. Greg and I have always been on okay terms, but we were never super close, mostly due to the distance. Growing up, we were friends, but he went away for college and then never really came back. Anyway, that day, I overheard my mom asking Greg when he was going to bring Tessa and their kids to visit, since she was getting too old and sick to travel. My heart dropped. Tessa has a rare, unique name. No way it wasn't her. Greg told Mom they'd been trying to work out how to visit without me finding out, because they decided it was too risky to have her here otherwise. Hearing that, I froze, silently piecing together the truth. I left without revealing I'd heard anything, and once home, I logged into an old fake account I'd used in my unsuccessful social media searches years ago. This time, I didn't look for Tessa, I searched for Greg. He'd always claimed to hate social media, so I never bothered before. I couldn't find him under his real name, but he used a nickname our parents gave him, and sure enough, he had a public Instagram with about 200 followers. He must have blocked me, which is why I never came across it. Scrolling, I saw the truth laid out in front of me. Photo after photo of Greg with Tessa, and their child, who was a carbon copy of Tessa, except for their eyes. I recognized Greg's eyes immediately. I just sat there, numb for at least an hour, crying, because this whole time she'd been with my brother, and everyone, including my family, helped keep it a secret. My parents comforted me during months of heartbreak while hiding the fact that they'd helped Tessa and Greg build their new life. My brother acted like nothing happened, visiting every year and playing the part of supportive sibling. The betrayal felt like a punch in the gut. My family had gaslighted me for 5 years, all while pretending to have my best interests at heart. I wanted to disappear, but not before leaving them with some words. Before cutting them off, I wrote them all a single-line message. I told them I knew what they'd done, and all I wanted was to know why. Nothing else, just why. In the process, I also found Tessa's account via Greg's. She was using a totally different name, one that always made me laugh. It was based on a nickname I used to call her when we first started dating, which she'd insisted she hated, so it never occurred to me to search for it. Make of that what you will. After I hit send on my message, I thought I'd feel better, but it just made everything worse. I ended up calling a couple of old high school friends and drank more than I should have at a nearby bar, eventually needing help getting home. I missed 2 days of work after that binge, not just from the hangover, but from the pain of betrayal and shattered trust. My family all responded to my message, but I didn't even open their replies. I texted Tessa via Instagram, since I no longer had her number, and she eventually wrote back yesterday. Her message floored me. She wrote 2 paragraphs telling me she was married with a child now, and that it was inappropriate for me to even contact her. She said that neither she nor Greg owed me anything, not an explanation, not closure. In fact, she said if I couldn't move on after 5 years, maybe the problem was me. And maybe I should seek help because something was clearly wrong with me for still caring. That was it. I wasn't expecting an apology, but I also wasn't expecting her to tear into me like that. All I wanted was one thing, closure, so that I could finally move on. Instead, I got called a creep. I still can't decide if I was wrong for reaching out, just to ask why. Shouldn't that be a basic courtesy after 6 years together? My family keeps trying to call me, but I'm ignoring them. Most of our old mutual friends drifted away, so I really don't have anyone left to talk to about this. So Reddit, am I the asshole for texting my ex after discovering she'd been with my brother this whole time, after vanishing without a word? Update 1. It's been a week since I posted this, and I didn't get a chance to post sooner since I've been drowning in all the work I missed. Thinking about it now, I realize I wasn't really wrong for asking Tessa for an explanation, but at the same time, I see it was pointless. She's just a terrible person who cheated on me with my own brother after being with me nearly 6 years, then bailed without a single word to start a family with him. That's the reality. I have to swallow it because it's all the closure I'm ever going to get. At first, I was overwhelmed, not sure how to process everything. But after Tessa texted me back, pouring her contempt over me, I actually felt a wave of relief. At least I dodged that bullet. She was the problem all along, not me. I truly tried my best. She and my family all decided I wasn't worth basic honesty or respect, and moved on as if nothing happened. The loss hit harder when the whole truth came out, because it's not just about losing my girlfriend, it's realizing I lost my family too. They lied to my face for years, comforting me, all while shielding Greg and Tessa. It's brutal, and even my therapist was shocked when I told her everything. I haven't responded to my family's messages, and I probably won't. What could they say or do to make any of this right? My mom's health is still bad, but I don't think I'll ever forgive her for her part in all this. I'm just focusing on finally letting go. Update 2. Hey, all. Greg came by my house today to try and have a civilized discussion. He stood outside, calling me immature and childish for refusing to let him in. It's been 3 weeks since I overheard that conversation and learned the truth. I haven't read a single text from any of them, not even opened them. I don't get why they're so desperate to fix things now. Clearly, my family has always cared more about Greg than me. Otherwise, they would have been honest from the start. Greg tried to justify everything, saying he and Tessa fell in love during one of his visits home and tried to keep their distance, but ultimately couldn't. He claimed my parents kept it secret to spare my feelings, and that they planned to tell me once I found someone else, so I'd have emotional support. How that was supposed to help, I'll never know. If I'd started a new relationship, and they decided to drop this bombshell, it probably would have destroyed that too. I'm honestly relieved I didn't meet anyone in the past 5 years, and that I found this out on my own. Finally, I snapped and told Greg to leave, threatening to call the police if he didn't. Then he dropped the real reason he was there, my mom. Apparently, her health has gotten worse due to the stress of me not speaking to them. He admitted the only reason he even bothered coming over was for our mom's sake, Otherwise, he wouldn't have cared less. He had the nerve to say that if she wasn't sick, he would have flown Tessa and their son here just to rub it in my face. That really made my blood boil, but I held myself back, barely. He left, and I've been trying to distract myself with Netflix, but the way he taunted me is stuck echoing in my head. My own family didn't just cheat and lie and betray me. They're now just flaunting their cruelty. I don't know what to do about my mom. I'd never want her health to get worse because of me. I suppose I might visit her, just when Greg and Dad aren't home, so I don't have to see them. Update 3. Hey, everyone, I finally visited my mom yesterday, and what happened next made me feel honestly triumphant, which is a brand new feeling after all this mess. I convinced her, and my dad, via her, that the only way I'd keep in touch was if they changed their wills to leave almost everything to me. I told her this straight up: change the inheritance, or forget about ever seeing me again. It took some pushing, but ultimately she agreed, and the family lawyer is coming in 2 days so I can see the wills change with my own eyes. I'm keeping all this a secret. For years, my family kept secrets for Greg's sake. Now it's my turn. Sure, it's cold and calculating, and manipulative, I guess, but after what they did, I feel justified. My parents actually have a decent amount of money, so this is a real win. Let Greg find out when it's too late to contest anything. They wanted to favor one brother for years. Now the tables have turned. When I saw my mom, I didn't know what to expect. She burst into tears, hugging me as she apologized and begged for forgiveness. She told me, with Dad's blessing, that they'd known about Greg and Tessa for years. They caught her with Greg in his room one night during a visit, when Tessa and I had been together nearly 4 years, 2 years before she left me. My parents agreed to Greg's request to keep it a secret, since they were in love and didn't want to hurt me. They always meant to tell me the truth, just could never find the right time. When I told them I planned to propose, they told Greg right away, and within days, Greg arranged a flight for Tessa to move to Canada, dodging my proposal, so I spent 5 years searching, heartbroken. They explained how they'd warned friends, relatives, anyone who might tell me where Tessa went, to stay silent, and kept up elaborate lies. They'd attended Greg's wedding, baby shower, all of it, and when they visited him, they'd use fake vacation photos to cover their tracks. My mom poured all this out, as if telling me would buy forgiveness. But I only felt cold, numb. I comforted her out of habit, not love. It was only after her confession that I told her about the will and inheritance. It just popped into my head: if I couldn't get emotional reparations, I'd get something else. I know money doesn't heal these wounds, but at least it's something. Now, I'm set to receive 90% of what my parents have, leaving Greg with almost nothing. I'm still cutting him out of my life, and I told my mom this point blank. The only reason I'll even tolerate contact with her is because of her illness. She wasn't thrilled, but she accepted, given everything that's happened. Maybe I'll change my mind someday, but for now, I know Tessa and Greg deserve each other, and I deserve better. I'm moving on for real this time. I don't need closure from either of them anymore. I'm done. That brings this story to a close. This story highlights how betrayal can come from those closest to us, and how sometimes the only closure we get is finding a way to move forward on our own terms. The narrator ultimately found a sense of resolution, even if it wasn't the kind he wanted at the start. I've got a question for you. Would you have demanded an explanation? Or would you rather cut ties and move on without looking back? Share your thoughts in the comments.